Hi everyone, this is Sarfraz from Aristotle Prep, and we are looking at passage number 24 from the OG13 RC chapter. So as always, we will first read the passage in great detail. We will understand it properly the way I would have understood it had I been doing it myself. Then we will think of a purpose for the passage, and then we will approach the questions. The first sentence is always very important. It says, John Clark's study of the effect of the modernization of a telephone exchange on exchange maintenance work and workers is a solid contribution to a debate that encompasses two lively issues in the history and sociology of technology: technological determinism and social constructivism. It's a very important sentence. The entire paragraph is just one sentence. In case you haven't understood this, please read it again. Basically, what it says is John Clark has done some study of some telephone exchange. The important thing is the study has contributed to a debate between two issues. The issues are technological determinism and social constructivism. What they mean, I have no idea, but now I'm curious to know what they actually mean. And I'm also thinking that the rest of the passage will either describe what these two terms are, or it will most likely describe how John Clark's study contributes to the debate between these two terms. Since there's a debate between the terms, I know they're kind of contrasting terms. So I've understood so much from the first paragraph. Now I go to the second paragraph. The first sentence says, Clark makes the point that the characteristic of a technology have a decisive influence on job skills and work organization. Now you see, as I read, I keep connecting it to the previous paragraph. The first sentence says, so at the end of the first paragraph, I came across two terms: technological determinism and social constructivism. So the moment the first sentence of the second paragraph makes a mention of technology, I'm trying to connect it somehow with the earlier part. And I can actually, because it says Clark makes the point that the characteristics of a technology have a decisive influence on job skills. So technology is being decisive, which means technology is determining something. That must be technological determinism. That's what I understood from the first sentence itself. Most students just zoom through it, but that is the understanding from there. That is how you connect paragraphs. So most likely, technological determinism is when technology has a decisive influence on job skills. Put more strongly, technology can be a primary determinant of social and managerial organization. Even if the first sentence did not make it clear, now it's absolutely clear what is technological determinism. It actually uses the word determinant. Can't make it more clear than that. Clark believes this possibility has been obscured by the recent sociological fashion exemplified by Braverman's analysis that emphasizes the way machinery reflects social choices. So you see, the moment I read obscured, which means hidden. So now I understood that there is a contrasting thought process, which is what is being called the sociological fashion, which is being put forth by Braverman, and it emphasizes the way machinery reflects social choices. So you see, I understood the difference now. In technological determinism, machinery is determining the choice. In social constructivism, most likely machinery is reflecting the social choice. That's the difference between the two. So you see, I understood so much only halfway through the second paragraph because I was trying to understand it. Okay, then it says, for Braverman, the shape of a technological system is subordinate to the manager's desire to wrest control of the labor process from the workers. The important thing I got from there is technological system is subordinated. It is not at top. So again, it reaffirms my point of view that in social constructivism, technology is inferior or below. Technological change is construed as the outcome of negotiations among interested parties who seek to incorporate their own interest into the design and configuration of the machinery. Okay, this position represents the new mainstream called social constructivism. At the end, it actually absolutely spells it out for you. But even if it had not spelled that out for you, you should have understood this much. And do notice that the second paragraph never explicitly tells you what is technological determinism. So, but still, you should have inferred that. So, from the second paragraph, we have understood what is technological determinism and what is social constructivism. In technological determinism, technology is on top. In social constructivism, technology is inferior. That's basically what I gathered. So now the third paragraph. The constructivists gain acceptance by misrepresenting technological determinism. Important sentence, that the constructivists are doing something wrong. They are misrepresenting technological determinism. Okay, how is that happening? Technological determinists are supposed to believe, for example, It's an example of what? It's an example of misrepresentation. So technological determinists are supposed to believe that machinery imposes appropriate forms of order on society. The alternative to constructivism, in other words, is to view technology as existing outside society, capable of directly influencing skills and work organization. All I understood from the third paragraph is that the constructivists are misrepresenting technological determinism. And it gives you an example of how they are doing it. So, and very important, who has said this in the third paragraph? The author is saying it, which also gives you some idea of the purpose, which side is the author on, or who's author favoring. The author is definitely favoring John Clark, because he's saying that the opponents are misrepresenting something. So it gives you some idea of that also. Then the last paragraph, the next paragraph, which says, Clark refutes the extremes of the constructivists by both theoretical and empirical arguments. So now Clark is refuting that misrepresentation that's happening. Theoretically, he defines technology in terms of relationship between social and technical variables, whatever. Attempts to reduce the meaning of technology to cold hard metal are bound to fail, for machinery is just scrap unless it is organized functionally and supported by appropriate systems of operation and maintenance. I did not understand it really, but I'm just reading on. At the empirical level, Clark shows how a change at the telephone exchange from maintenance intensive switches to something, altered work, tasks, skill, training opportunities, blah blah blah. So you see, again, I did not understand. I did not even try to. The only thing that I noticed is that he is refuting it theoretically, also empirically. The actual refutation, I never got. But if there's any question, I know where the answer is. I will go back and read it then. So some changes Clark attributes to the particular way management and labor unions negotiated the introduction of the technology. So okay, for some changes it is the management that is responsible, whereas others are seen as arising from the capabilities and nature of the technology itself. For some other, it is technology that is responsible. It also tells me what is this guy saying. Clark, he's basically saying it's a bit of both. Because for some changes, he says managers are responsible. For some changes, technology is responsible. It also goes perfectly with the first sentence of that paragraph where he's refuting the extremes of the constructivist. So he's not going with an extreme opinion, but a kind of a midway opinion, a middle path opinion. The last sentence, thus Clark helps answer the question, when is social choice decisive and when are the concrete characteristics of technology more important? Great, you see, so how does Clark contribute to the debate is now clear to me. He contributes to the debate between these two terms by saying it is not either or. Sometimes it is one, sometimes it is the other, depending on the context of the situation. That is the entire passage for you. So, in the first paragraph, it introduces two terms. In the second paragraph, it explains what those two terms mean. In the third paragraph, it says one of those two parties is doing something wrong. In the last paragraph, it clearly supports a particular study, which is of a particular term, which is technological determinism, and shows why Clark's study is very good. It's kind of a middle path alternative. So the author of the passage is absolutely neutral. Well, okay, no, he's not absolutely neutral, because in the third paragraph he did say that constructivists are misrepresenting technological determinism. Also, the language he uses for Clark is very favorable. So I won't say he's totally neutral. He's more kind of in support of Clark or in support of technological determinism. That's what I would say is the primary purpose of the passage. So having understood the passage like that, we will now approach questions. The first question is your global question, the primary purpose of the passage. So I will look at the first words, advocate, discuss, consider, challenge, suggest. Well, I wouldn't normally look at advocate and challenge. But actually I think it's best if I go through all the options, because he is a little in favor of one side, the author. So I can't really be sure. Let me read all the options in this case. A says, advocate a more positive attitude, that's out. I'll leave it at that. The author never advocates a positive attitude. B says, discuss the implications for employee of the modernization of a telephone exchange is a part of the passage, not the entire passage. The entire passage is about those two terms. C says, consider a successful challenge to the constructivist view of technological change. Looks good to me. Looks good to me. And you see, the successful challenge part, that's very important, because that you only understand if you kind of had an idea that the author is supporting Clark. So he definitely believes Clark has been successful in doing whatever he was doing. It was a successful challenge. I like that option. Hold C. D says, challenge the position of advocates of technological determinism. Absolutely not. He's actually supporting technological determinism, if anything. E says, suggests that the social causes of technological change should be studied in real situations, never does that. So C is the correct answer. And a lot of people would not go with C because of successful challenge, but you must understand that the author is favoring Clark. So he definitely views him as a success. So C should be the correct answer.